welcome to our little chat today. I'll just introduce myself. My name is Alana, and I have with us today Toni Godsell, my sister, and my karate instructor and spiritual mentor, Hanshi Deena Naidu. We haven't planned anything today. We're just going to have a really good chat, and I think it's going to be really interesting for everybody. So I think to begin, we'll just hand you over to Hanshi. Hanshi's been writing a book for the last few weeks, so I'd love to hear a little bit about that. Hanshi.
Yes. Well, after my gorgeous daughter passed away, I had this inspiration to write. I wasn't really planning on writing a book because I'd completed about 14 books. And, I wasn't thinking about writing another book for a while. So when she passed away, I was getting this profound messages. And one of the messages was write the book called Speaking with God. And I said, wow, that seemed like a great idea because with myself, and of course, there are many people on the planet that also has the same kind of experience, that at 3 o'clock in the morning, these profound messages come about. So at 3 every day, I started writing this book, Speaking with God, and I would ask the question, the answers would come immediately. It's like the answers are there. It's just downloaded into my head and I'm writing. And of course, sometimes as the thoughts are coming, it's too fast for me to type it in, but I somehow managed to do it. And of course, look at it later and say, what have I missed out on and so on. And I fill up the gaps. But the messages are profound. It's absolutely profound. It is things I never knew before. Yes, of course, there are some things I knew, but most things that is downloaded onto my consciousness is things that I didn't know. For instance, today I had to talk about ego, and what came through about ego was just phenomenal stuff. We have this impression that ego, when somebody is referred to as having an ego, it's always thought of vanity, or this person is thinking of himself as too high above other people and so on. But this is not the case. Ego is the individual that is created out of the source energy. So everybody is ego. Every individual is an ego, which means we are separate from the source. We think differently, we act differently, we say different things. So this is ego. But vanity, of course, is different. Vanity is when we start saying we're better than other people or we're less than other people. In truth, everything is the same. We're no different to anybody else. The only difference is the things that we do. The things that we do makes us different to everybody else. But to view yourself better than others is egoistic behavior. And this is what people have to understand. Egoistic behavior is different to ego. When you are vain in your ways, or you from a superior thinking, or you feel that you're superior, you undermine other people, that is vanity. That is unlawful acts against divinity. Because in truth, we're all of the same energy. Right. So I was talking about, this three consciousness levels. You have the individual self that has separated itself from from the God self to become the ego. Now, the whole journey of life is about unpeeling unpeeling our ego to merge with divinity. And the process is quite challenging. So we move from this universal consciousness to the cosmic consciousness to the divine consciousness. Those are the three stages. Now, when we look at the words of Jesus, when he was on the planet, he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one will get to the Father but by me. What was Jesus saying in those words, right? Now, we all understand that the I am presence is the divine presence that Moses on the mount heard when Moses asked God the question, who shall I say was speaking to me? And God said, say, I am that I am. So that I am that I am is the divine consciousness that that has separated itself from itself to become the whole of creation. Now, let us look at this I am that Jesus speaks about. If Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, anybody looking at this would say that is an arrogant expression, claiming that he is the only way, right? And of course, we know that Jesus wasn't arrogant. He was a humble soul. And when he said, I am the way, he wasn't talking about the individual I am, but he was talking about the divine consciousness of the I am. Now, let's look at that statement, right? I am the way means this is the universal I am, the universal I am. And then he says, I am the truth, which is the cosmic I am. And I am the life is the divine I am. So there's three states of I am. The universal I am, the cosmic I am, and the divine I am. Three states. So when God comes down as human, he has to reduce his vibrational frequency to become the cosmic I am, drop it down from the cosmic I am to the universal I am, and then the individual state of humanism, which is us, So Jesus was not talking about himself, but he was talking from the viewpoint of the highest consciousness of the I am. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely, yeah. It makes me think about the time that the experience that we had outside the dojo many years ago, when you and I were deep in conversation, and then the white orb, bright light, appeared above my head. And when you speak in your last podcast with Diana, you said that it was an experience that you had, or that we had, with God. So when you say that when he has to come down onto the earth plane, what do you think form of consciousness he would have played in that role by doing that and showing us?
All right. Okay, that's a beautiful question. So if the entire God self appears on the planet, nothing will exist. It'll all vanish in a second. In a second, it'll be gone. Right? Maybe a second is too long. So it is so powerful. The omnipotency of God is so powerful It can't even be measured. You can't say it's like an atom bomb. You can't say it's 1,000 atom bombs. You can't say it's 1,000,000,000,000 atom bombs. It is immeasurable atom bombs. It's like everything in consciousness exploding at the very second, disappearing into a nothingness. So God didn't present himself as God's totality. So God presented himself as a lower energy form, so that my eyes won't be blinded by the sight, neither would yours. So the energy had to be reduced from the state of divine consciousness to that of cosmic consciousness to that of universal consciousness. So what we did see was not an orb, it was the actual I am presence. So Moses, seeing the burning bush, did not see God in totality. Moses saw the same things we saw, except that he saw it as a burning bush, as fire. We saw it as a beautiful light of energy. So that had to be reduced so that the presence won't be overwhelming, but yet enough to convince us that God was present.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And, just looking back at that time, it was just beyond extraordinary of what happened. And I still remember it clear as day. The feeling is just so instilled into my mind. It's just nothing that I'll ever forget ever, and I'm just so grateful that we had that opportunity to share that together.
Well, thank you for being a little bit naughty to your mom. So that brought this experience about, right? But everything has a purpose and a reason, and everything is meant to be. Nothing is by accident or coincidence. Because now this story is carried to many thousands of people that are going to hear the story.
So, Hanshi, I just have a question with regards to religion and spirituality, modern religion, that is, and how it influences the individual, and whether you believe that it is harmful to that person, the individual finding their enlightenment. When you talk about the I am that Jesus talks about, which I believe has been misinterpreted, do you feel that there are some forms of religion or some religious leaders that steer the person away and outwardly into a worshipping state, rather than that going inward and finding that God that's within us? And I'm just really interested to hear what you feel about that.
Yeah, the situation is such that as long as there's man on the planet, there'll always be people that deceive and incorrectly educate people for their own purposes. So they come in disguise as politicians, they come in disguise as religious leaders, they come in disguise as CEOs of companies, whatever. There's a platform that they can stand on and deliver messages to masses of people. Many people use this opportunity to propagate their own benefits and steer people away. So religion is also guilty. Many religions are guilty of that. So there are institutions and places of worship that do this as a business. It's a business venture. It's okay. We can understand that, money is required for sustenance. Money is required for upkeep. We can understand that. But exploitation and using the platform or using God's platform to deliver messages that are incorrect is really damaging for many souls. They are misled into believing things that is not entirely true. So the I am presence is, as I explained earlier, is the God presence. And the God presence comes down in different forms to educate us, as in the case of Toni and myself, where God presence came as a light, right? So the God presence can come down as a person, as a being, as a spiritual leader. But at the same time, we can have people pretending to be that and pretending to have the powers of God and so on and so forth.
Do you,
So yeah,
oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Do you feel that some of these
Go ahead.
leaders or influencers become hijacked by, say, a negative aspect of that source energy, so entities or demonic energy of sort?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, they. I shouldn't say of course. It is probably of course. It's not. They use this. They use uh, on the planet itself and in the universe itself. There are different forces of energies. You have the pure energy, you have the positive energy, and you have the negative energy, right? So the negative energy uses its power to influence those people that are of low vibration.
Yeah.
So if a platform leader stands and talks and delivers a speech, and the intention is negative, then these forces of negativity latch on, and they encourage that kind of growth. With the result, these people now become agents of negativity.
Like in the Matrix.
That's right.
Yeah.
Agents of negativity, right?
Mm.
So the truth is, we need to think good, be good, do good, and we've got to have the right intentions to live good, right? So this is what we need to do. Now, even my work, when I'm writing my books, I write it with a pure intention of receiving the information that is downloaded and put it down on paper and make it into books so it can uplift humanity. It's not about teaching them incorrect things. So today, when I was filling the gap of this passage that I wrote on the ego at 4 o'clock this morning, whatever was downloaded, I wrote it. This is what I believe that has come through me for the purpose of helping humans to better understand the I am presence. So religious leaders will say, join us. Jesus said, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. Join us, because Jesus is the only one to God. And this is an incorrect statement. It's incorrect.
I often think about that Bible story about, I think the Temple of Mount, I think it is, where there was religious leaders that were selling and preaching at this temple, and he had taught the people not to worship and just to pray and just to be humble and to be good people and to just live as he did. And then he, in a fit of rage, he knocked it all down and knocked down all the tables, and they were gambling and they were selling and they were doing all of this stuff. But I often think about that, and then I think about modern times, and we've gone down that same road. And unfortunately, it's the people, not the ones that are running these religions or these churches, but it's the people, the vulnerable people that are seeking God, that are seeking that wanting to return, that part of themselves that they know is there. And so they're following, believing these people, believing they're going to find that in their vulnerability. And all they get done, all that happens is they get taken away from that truth that already lies within them. And it's quite sad to see that, people devour their lives to these people. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a greater force in play here. We mustn't feel sad about anything. What we have to do is to stick to our path.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what other people do, right? Those people that are victims, they're not really victims. It's meant for them to be in that environment, to be misled.
Or to be
It's yes, to be led wrongly, right? So those people that need to be saved will be guided correctly. Those people that are not saved will be misguided and misled, because it's not their time for change.
Yes.
I mean, you look at your own life, for instance, right? When you were a young lady, at karate, you were, I hope you don't mind me reminding you, when you were a young person, you were so interested in God
Always.
that yeah. And you
And
joined some people, some groups, right?
That's right. And this is what I think about. I'm 41 now, and it's taken me this many years to realize that God isn't just out there. And that's going outward is great and all of that, but I guess that was my journey. My journey was to go outward to them, to find what's in here. I got there eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
True.
yes. And you tried to influence me at that time, at the same time, right? Remember, you tried to influence me, and I said, "Oh my God, this young lady, she's so keen on learning about God, but she's misled by people that got no idea." So
That's
you
right.
see, religion caters for different soul levels, right? So you have new souls, you have young souls, you have mature souls, you have teacher souls, and you have master souls, right? So religion caters for these soul levels. Some people in the new soul level, of course, will learn new soul teachings. People in the young soul levels will learn young soul teachings. Mature souls will learn mature soul teachings, and so on. And that's how it is. According to their soul level, they're attracted to the kind of teaching that suits their understanding. You can't teach calculus to a child starting to learn maths.
Yeah.
It's impossible. You can't teach algebra, geometry, trigonometry to a child that has just learned addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. They have to first master that. So this is the new soul. The new soul is just learning to add in life, to subtract in life, to divide in life, to multiply in life. That's what they're learning. And then when they grow up and they start to move to become young souls, then the algebra starts, the calculation starts. You understand? And then all the other stuff in mathematics starts in life. And then when they qualify and master that, then they become mature souls where they are now learning the calculus of spirituality. It's very simple, really, when you think about it. A new soul can't learn calculus. A young soul cannot learn calculus. They have to go through the process of learning.
And how does that work and integrate as we ascend on a collective level?
Right. So what happens to the new souls? The new souls have to be reborn again and again. We come down from the separation, right? to the lowest form of life, right? As you did in SMA, right? The lowest form of life. And then there's an evolutionary process happening. And eventually we land up in the animal state of consciousness, right? And then we become human in those just immigrated from the animal kingdom, is then a lower form of consciousness or understanding of itself. So it's a new soul, a new low human soul. So it has to experience life. So what happens? It is regenerated, it passes away, it comes back, it passes away, it comes back, and each time it's learning, and then it becomes what we call a young soul. So young soul now goes through the processes, but a little bit different now because it is better educated. So the regeneration happens, right? And each time the soul leaves and comes back, while it's away, it's learning and developing its consciousness, and it comes back better educated. And eventually, you know, it ends up being a mature soul, and then it becomes a teacher soul, and then a master soul. So all this to get back to its original form, which is divinity, right? So the process is for our own evolution, right? So during this period of time, the ego, the individual self, changes, the vibration changes. So the individual self, known as the ego, is no more. The individual self becomes what we call the cosmic self. The cosmic self has no time or space. The cosmic self is able to become omnipresent, to be able to be at any place, anytime, anywhere, without restriction. And then, of course, we become the divine self, which means there's no such thing as distance. Everything is now, everything is immediate, everything is right here. So there's no place else. It's right here. And that's what happens.
And do you feel that humanity is going into into another frequency, into another dimensional state of being, and that we can be living in this earth realm on those higher dimensions? Do you think
Not
that's where we're going?
necessarily, yeah, not for everybody. No,
Okay.
no. Yeah. Some people will have that privilege and that right to be able to do this, but it's not for all souls. I mean, can you imagine we have a planet of 8 billion people, and 8 billion souls living here, and 6 billion are new souls. How are they going to live in a fourth dimensional experience or
That's
a fifth
right.
dimensional experience? They're not
So
ready
does
for it, right?
does that create a dimensional shift, like a split of sorts?
No, only for us. Only, no, I shouldn't say that. It's only for certain souls, right?
Okay.
So they have fourth dimensional experiences, they have fifth dimensional experience, they have sixth dimensional experience within this dimension.
And how would you describe that existence when that
Well,
happens?
then I'm going to tell you all the secrets.
Come on. This is good stuff.
Right. Okay. Let me just share a couple of things, right?
Okay.
Firstly, you're thinking about somebody, they ring you. Or you hear somebody's been talking about you when you were thinking about them. So this is fourth dimensional experience where there is no time. There's no time. It means at the same time you thinking, they thinking. Same time you talking, they talking. So the fourth dimensional experience is what you are experiencing and they experiencing. Then you have the fifth dimensional experience, which is beyond space, right? Space means being able to present yourself anywhere at any time, just like that, to be able to
And not
go to,
linear
yeah,
sense.
without any vehicles, right? It's beyond astral projection. It's beyond mental projection. It is what we call causal projection. Causal projection is when you are able to causal project at any point, at any time.
Do you believe that whilst we're living in this three-dimensional space, we still have periodic access to that dimension? So through meditation,
No,
or through other means?
it is the vibration. It's a vibration. So how are you going to get your vibration up? Think about it. How do you get your vibration
What we
to be
consume.
higher? Right?
What we consume. How you consume.
No, it's your practices. No, it's your
Okay.
practices. It's your practices. What is your
Okay.
practice? Your practice is service to all. Your practice is healing. Your practice is meditation. Your practice is prayer. All the different practices creates you that gives you the ability to be able to experience this other frequency levels, because your frequency has to change, right? Or lower. You lower your vibration or you increase your vibration, right?
So people often talk about ascension symptoms and about almost like a shedding of old vibrational experiences or thoughts or feelings or people relationships. Is there a process of shedding in that where you may experience sickness or memories coming to the surface and that sort of thing? Because that, in my work, that's what I'm sort of seeing happening for myself and other people as we raise our vibration. There's this, letting go
It's
of
not
things.
it's called unpeeling.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You're unpeeling it, right? And it falls away because you don't need it anymore, right?
Right, yeah.
So you unpeel it, and then you get the purity within, right? The purity within is what is going to lift your vibration to its highest form, right?
So I guess for me, in the work that I do as a Reiki practitioner, I have lots of people coming to me who have lots of trauma, but who are also very in tune with their spirituality or willing to learn or to grow as a spiritual being. For me, I think I like to validate them through their experiences, and when they say I've had a really rough week or I'm having lots of dreams or memories coming to the surface, I like to remind them that it's a process. Would you say that is the right angle,
Yes,
Hanshi?
yes.
Okay.
Now, for those people, it's very simple. You teach them the meditation techniques that I've given you that's suited to them, right? You
Yes.
do 9 minutes of meditation in the morning, 9 minutes at lunchtime, 9 minutes in the evening.
Yeah.
So what happens? It pures their consciousness. They're no more thinking about all the bad things anymore that has happened to them. So it's
Okay.
unpeeling all of that stuff, right?
Do you think that we need to be actively releasing from our body, from our physical body? Do you believe those memories find areas in the body where it becomes trapped? Or do you, like when I say that, like, do you think that revisiting these experiences on a conscious level is, in a therapy sense, is helpful?
What do you do with a banana peel after
You
you eat the banana?
I throw away the peel.
That's that's exactly right. That's what you do. It
Yeah,
doesn't belong to you anymore. All
that's
these
right.
things you deny its existence. You
Mm,
say it belongs to the garbage,
right.
right? It goes there. That doesn't belong to you. You don't keep it. You don't preserve it. If you preserve it, it creates a headache, right? So you remove the headache by
Or
removing
you
the peel. You say, right?
or you
What's that?
could use it as compost and you could use it as compost and let
No,
it help to.
don't accept it. No. What we must do is not accept it. If you accept
Okay.
it, that means you're hanging on to it, right? And if you hang on to
Okay.
it, it brings you more pain. So, you
Right.
have
Yeah.
to inject yourself with love, right? So
Mm-hmm.
your body is a hospital, your mind is a pharmacy, your spirit is a doctor, and the injection is love, right? So that's what you do. You inject yourself with love, so everything heals.
So would you say, as these memories come up, or as someone is thinking about these traumas, for example, would you say acknowledge the memory, acknowledge the thought or the feeling, and then send it away or let it go?
That's
Just
exactly right. Yes,
right.
remember that healing that I did with you, the meditation I did where you draw all the negative energy right up to the top, you
Yeah,
change it into a beautiful flower, and then you
absolutely.
send it out into the cosmos. So that's what happens. You just send this thing
And it
away.
transmutes. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not destroying that, right?
No.
As you said earlier, you're changing
Changing the
into a
frequency.
compost, right? Yeah, you're
Mm,
changing into a beautiful flower, you're changing the energy, and you're
mm,
sending it out in the universe that doesn't belong to you.
exactly.
Mm.
Oh, fascinating. Oh, so, Hunter, you wanted to chat about Vision Australia a little bit. I'd love to hear
We'll
if
have
we've
to
got
leave it for
time.
next week, I think, because there's,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
we'll
fine.
have to leave it for
That's okay. Tony, do
the
you have
next
anything you'd
interview.
like?
We can do that because there's a lot of miracle stories. Yes, a lot of stories.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to go into, many miracle stories on our next talk. I think it'd be really interesting for us to have an opportunity to share that to the world.
I think we're just touching the surface.
Yeah, but what is going to happen is this will inspire a lot of people.
Yeah,
It'll motivate people. It'll help people change, and this is the service work, right?
yeah.
So that's what's required
And that's what.
is the service work.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. We want to understand more so that we can help others understand more, and then they continue to help others understand more.
Yes,
So it's
absolutely.
this ever-growing frequency. So I love that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Thank you for all your wisdom, Hanshi, and it's been really fascinating, and I can't wait to hear more. So it won't be long till the next one. I'll be hanging on for that.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Uh,
Hanshi.
Thank you.
so much. I really love your company, and it's wonderful. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.